Hey guys, Joe here from Clean Getaway Car Detailing. Today I want to talk about how thick is your paint. It's something that everyone wants to know about their car, especially when they buy a new car, but also when they have picked up maybe a classic car or they've just had their own classic car resprayed. Here next to us we have a really nice HQ Kingswood. I think it's a HQ, we'll confirm that in the video, and it has been fully resprayed. This originally was white. Now what's really important is before we did any paint correction services on this particular vehicle, we wanted to find out how much paint is actually on this car, because we don't want to go correcting the paintwork to find out that there's hardly anything on it and potentially burn through the paintwork. So what we use is a paint thickness gauge, which looks something like this. There's not much to look at, but what this machine does is it actually Bluetooths to our phone, and we can measure how much paint is on the metal panels by placing this machine on it, and it gives you a reading. Now it doesn't work on plastic or fiberglass or a composite panel or a carbon fiber, because you cannot get an electronic current reading through that. And so we can measure everything except the bonnet pretty much on this vehicle. So what this then gives us a good indication is how far can we go? How much machine polishing can we do? Can we do any wet sanding? How forgiving is this paint? So typically, a resprayed car will always measure about 2 to 3 times minimum more paint than a factory painted car, like a new car. So, and most resprayed cars, if they don't measure very thick, then that is a bit of a red flag. So what I want to do today is actually go around this beautiful classic Holden and measure the paint thickness of each panel. And this little beauty, it can tell us so much. It tells us what the panel is made of. Usually can tell you if it's the factory color as well, the factory paint job, that it has not been resprayed. It can tell us if there's a few layers of paint on there, and if the paint actually has putty underneath it. It's very intelligent, but the only thing what it does do, it doesn't give us the thickness of each individual layer. So if you're new to the paint world, most paints you're going to have obviously your steel panel, then you'll have primer, which could be white, black or grey, and then you'll have the base color, which in this particular car is red. And then a lot of cars you'll have the clear coat on top. So this paint is actually not clear coated. So when we're machine polishing, everything was turning red. It was bleeding really, really bad. But a lot of new cars are clear coated. So they'll have primer, red paint, and then clear coat. Or they'll have primer, metallic silver or metallic white, and then clear coat over the top. There's no metallic paint that's not clear coated as far as I know. So we're going to measure the paintwork. So what it is telling us how thick the primer and the red paint is, and that will give us a really good indication to know how far can we go on this beautiful beast. So let's jump up here on the roof first. So literally just, so we can see it's 270 microns. Most factory paint jobs, like on new cars, Mazdas, Mercedes, Teslas, everything like that, measures from about 80 to 150. So that reading there was 278. Now you'd be surprised how much a panel can vary. So we got 365, 360, pretty consistent, which is really good. 240, and we'll just go down on the corner here. 317. 200, and we'll just keep going around the car. What we can always find out too is whether they've repainted a particular panel more than another. And it's a really good indication to know if your new car or a car that you're buying secondhand has had a respray. And we can see quite a difference in thickness between that one and that one. Now 730 microns, that is a lot of paint. So obviously they've probably, looks like they've blown in, whoa, yeah. Let's just go down here. And it's telling us it's got a thick layer of putty in that previous one. And as you can see, this is fiberglass, this bonnet, and we're getting absolutely no reading here. But then we'll come up here, and we're getting a good reading there. So if we go to the back, we know the back of this car has had, the back of the panel here has had quite a few resprays. It's got over 900 microns of paint. That there is absolutely crazy. So it's got a siren Ready? Oh, there we go. Sound the alarm. Yeah, so the roof is very consistent, around that 260 to 300 microns. We'll just go down this one and finish on this one here. Awesome, so what we're able to do here is we can safely investigate to see there is plenty of paint on here. We can really work hard to achieve our desired result. When some cars are measuring around 100 microns, and we find a lot of Mitsubishis will measure around 60 microns of paint, and that's generally when they're actually a metallic silver. So there's 3 layers, and it's like, wow, there's only 60 microns between 3 layers. So potentially there could only be 20 microns per layer. And that's a really scary figure to work with, because you do not want to do any wet sanding, because if you burn through that top clear coat, you have to get it repainted. So that can be very costly and something you don't really want to have to tell your customer. But we knew what we were working with here. We were able to really achieve a great, beautiful deep glow with doing a 2-stage paint correction. Then we put a graphene coating on it. But let's go check out and see what a factory painted Tesla, let's go look at our Tesla to see what measurements it is getting now. So it's an aluminium, it's not steel. Obviously the front bar won't work. If it did, I'd be very worried. Then we get the front quarter panel, 95 microns. So this is steel, and the bonnet's actually aluminium. You can see there's actually zinc in the panel as well. That's so cool. So actually, I want to see what kind of reading we get underneath the wrap. So obviously, it's picking up the wrap thickness as well, I believe, because it shouldn't be too different. So yeah, you can obviously tell it's much higher with the wrap because there's a thickness. It's probably picking up saying it's the second layer of paint too. But if we go back to the front panel, it was only reading 96 microns. And that's 80. There's really not much paint to work on here with this Tesla. And we'll find, if we head over to the MG, one of our courtesy cars, this is a Chinese made car, let's have a look. This is a steel bonnet. Let's go to the guard here. So this MG is actually solid white with clear coat. The Tesla Model 3, our Tesla, is metallic white with clear coat. So it's amazing to see the difference in the type of paint it is, but knowing the MG's got more paint than the Tesla, which is really crazy. Let's go back in the coating bay. So what we found out there was the Tesla, theoretically, from what we observed, if the paint gauge is correct, the Tesla has less paint than the MG, which is slightly embarrassing, but paint thickness isn't everything, because you have also to factor in the hardness of the clear coat. Could there be a thicker layer of clear coat than the actual base coat, and which means it's more forgiving, you can work more with it, but we actually don't know that reading. So knowing the thickness of your paint is really important for yourself as the vehicle owner, but also for people that are working on your car. You do not want to go in blind, machine polishing, trying to remove deep scratches without knowing how much paint you're actually working on. It's really the responsibility of the professional detailer. So if you want to get an idea of how thick your paint is, come into our workshop at Clean Getaway Car Detailing. We'll just go out and we'll do a free reading for you on your vehicle, so you know, maybe you're a little bit suspicious, or you just really just want to know how thick the paint is on your car. Feel free to come inside and we will do that for you free of charge. But I hope this video was helpful, and that's why it's so important to know the thickness of your paint. We'll see you soon.